Welcome, friends. I'm Jim Hughes, bringing you this edition of Oxford News This Week. In today's headlines, coming up, the Oxford having the largest event in DDA history, new infrastructure and online shopping in Oxford, and even more celebration for Oxford High School sports teams. Portions of this newscast are brought to you in part by Barron Industries. Sit back, stay tuned, because you're watching Oxford News This Week. Real Men Do Wear Pink, and the Real Men Wear Pink organization, who raised money for breast care research, proved it again. Last week, Oxford resident and business owner Jason Carter led the team Oxford in a fundraiser at Tim Hortons of Oxford's drive-thru. He spoke to OCTV about this actual event.
Today we're at Tim Hortons in Oxford here, celebrating Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Joined here by some of our Team Oxford ambassadors, Tim and Andrew, and then we've got some of our teammates here, Nicole and Rob. I'm just out here raising money, and Tim Hortons was generous enough to help us out and donate $1 for every drink order from 7 to 11, so thank you definitely for that. You can also donate on our Real Men of Oxford Facebook page. There's a link right there. You can donate. You can also reach out to us for shirts. We'll also be at the Pink Out Oxford game tonight and Witches Night later on this month, on the 20th. The money that we raise at these events is actually going to the Oakland County Real Men Wear Pink campaign. It goes to help various different things with the organization, whether it's helping out survivors or people battling cancer. It goes to the doctors and basically research to help with cures and preventative. So it's just a real great organization, and all of this money, 100% of it, goes to help those in need with breast cancer.
In another local fundraiser, the Friends of the Addison Township Library hosted the Friends Flavor Fest silent auction and wine tasting last week at Addison Oaks Park. The money goes towards the support of the construction of a brand new Addison Township Library. Board President Jim Azzarelli is asking folks to continue to donate, and you can donate by logging on their website, library.org.
My name is James Azzarelli. I'm the president of the Addison Township Public Library Board. We are here today to have the Flavor Fest hosted by the Friends of the Library as to help raise money for the new building project and help run operations for programming and other services that the library offers to the community. If you would like to also help contribute to our operations or the new building fund, you can visit the website below and contribute to a wonderful attribute to Addison Township.
Today actually marks an unfortunate turn of events. The Michigan Regulatory Commission passing a bill, HB 4965, which will exempt all streaming services from paying franchise and PEG fees. If this bill does pass in the state Senate, all cable TV franchise and PEG revenues would potentially go to zero, which will take $100 million annually statewide away from each community. What this means is for communities that have public television, they will have to lose their station funding. For communities that do not have public television, this funding often funds police, fire, and EMS. They will also lose that funding. The Michigan Community Media Association is asking you to contact your senator and ask for Bill 4965. See that it does not pass if you value your local TV station. A steel celebration for the new medical construction on the first Wednesday of October. Oxford Township officials, medical personnel, construction workers, and others gathered at the new construction site, McLaren, Oakland. The new facility to celebrate the placement of the final structural steel beam, the new $35 million McLaren facility, is set to actually open in the fall of 2024. It is located just off of M24. The building will offer a freestanding emergency department, primary care services, comprehensive diagnostic imaging center, among other services. In a quote from Charter Township Oxford Supervisor Jack Curtis, he believes the construction progress since the facility's groundbreaking ceremony in April has been absolutely phenomenal. Before the final steel beam was placed by the large crane, it was actually signed by not only the members of the McLaren Oakland team, construction workers, but also representatives from the Oxford Fire Department, Oakland County Sheriff's Office, Supervisor Curtis. Over 6,000 hours of work have contributed to this project already. Online shopping, a program now in downtown Oxford near you, has been selected as one of the 10 Main Street communities in Oakland County that have been selected as pilots for an online marketplace. The first of its kind here in Michigan, DDA Executive Director Kelly Westbrook described the shoppers can envision the marketplace as Oxford's own Etsy, a worldwide creative and small business-oriented online store. In the new pilot program in Oxford, business owners upload images and information about their products, tell customers they can browse and search within the format of the platform. Other participating downtown areas, Lake Orion and Rochester, are included. Users can add items to their cart, go through the checkout process, very similar to other online retailers. But it's also up to the businesses to decide whether to ship items directly to customers or have them available for in-store pickup. The program is partially funded by the Main Street of Oakland County as well as the DDA participating areas. To check out what stores are participating, browse the online catalog at shopocmainstreets.org. The Oakland County Sheriff's Office is holding its 14th annual Treats for Troops candy drive this Halloween season. The purpose is a collection to send thanks and encouragement sweets to the troops overseas. This year's drop-off days are Wednesday through Friday, November 1st through the 3rd. If you have leftover Halloween candy and want to have an impact on a soldier's life, you can make donations to any of the Sheriff's Office substations. The Oxford Township substation is located at 310 Dunlop Road. If you have any further questions about the program, make sure to log on the liaison Mandy Ford at ford@oakgov.com. I'm sure it's displayed below my face here. A pedestrian passed away after being struck by a pickup truck driven by Oakland County Sheriff's detective on Wednesday, October 4th. 58-year-old Dwayne McFarland was struck in Pontiac at about 9:20 in the evening. McFarland was attempting to cross Walton Boulevard in the non-crosswalk area near Circle Drive when the truck hit him. Officials say the detective was commuting home from work, driving a county vehicle, a 2022 Chevrolet Silverado. It is unconfirmed if the alcohol or drug use were factors in the incident. The crash is being investigated by the Sheriff's Office, Special Investigations Unit for Crash Reconstruction. In an update to last week's coverage of the first round CPR classes at the Oxford Fire Department, future class dates, the first 3 months of 2024 have been released. That'll be January 11th, February 8th, and March 7th. The Oxford Fire Department will be offering the American Heart Association's Family and Friends CPR class. Up to 20 people can participate in it each evening, a 2-hour course which runs from 6 to 8 p.m. The class is open to anyone wishing to learn more effectively how to conduct CPR. As of the time of the reporting, the CPR classes for October, November, and December are completely filled up. To register for new openings, you can sign up Genius located on Charter Township of Oxford's Facebook page. We're in our Behind the Lens segment, a segment that we all come to enjoy. Up and Away, the winner of the Scarecrow Contest, which was part of the Oxford Downtown Development Authority's Scarecrow Fest, is Oakland Corners Realty. Their Scarecrow portrays Carl, the protagonist of Pixar Animation Studios, which features winners of the Scarecrow Contest. and were cited the likes of the Oxford Downtown Development Authority Facebook page. Carl was tied with Red Knapp's Taylor Swift-inspired Scarecrow and 184 likes each until the tiebreaker last Sunday. Congratulations once again to the Oakland Corners Realty and everyone who participated in a beautiful day at the Scarecrow Fest. We were down there filming. We'll have that on our TV station shortly. In our last story, let's walk and roll. Up next, Dave Kenny with Auto Talk and Science in the News, and I'll be back. I'll have sports. You're watching Oxford News This Week.
Canine Stray Rescue does just that. Rescue stray dogs for new families. But they need your help. Become a volunteer at Canine Stray Rescue League of Michigan. Take dogs for walks, help them socialize with others, and help them get adopted. Fill out an application and help a family add a new member today.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is from Automotive News. The second generation of the BMW X2 delivers a beefy redesign that supersizes the compact crossover and dials up under-the-hood power. The 2024 X2 will debut at the Japan Mobility Show in Tokyo this month. It will arrive in U.S. stores in March, and pricing was not disclosed. BMW launched the lifestyle crossover in 2018, aiming it to active, younger buyers. More than the family-friendly X1 and X3, also compacts, the X2 was a nod to the early days of BMW when the brand leaned into a more spirited driving experience. That's from Auto Forecast Solutions Vice President Sam Furiani. BMW updated the X2's 2-liter twin-power turbo 4-cylinder engine. The xDrive 28i variant makes 241 horsepower and goes from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.2 seconds. The M35i xDrive carries a more potent 4-cylinder that delivers 312 horsepower and a 0 to 60 time of 5.2 seconds. BMW said a 7-speed double-clutch transmission features a wider gear ratio spread and greater efficiency. The transmission shifts into park when the engine turns off. The parking brake is automatically applied if the vehicle is parked on a slope. The X2 leans in on its coupe-like styling with an upright front end, long, raked A-pillars, sloping roof, and raked rear hatch. With a higher beltline, the latest X2 adapts styling similar to the larger X4 and X6 crossovers. Door handles are flush with the body, wider tracks at the front and rear, and larger diameter wheels give the X2 a broader, muscular stance. Compared with the outgoing generation, the X2 is 7.6 inches longer at 179.8 inches, 0.8 inches wider at 72.6 inches, and 2.5 inches taller at 62.6 inches. Up front is a redesigned version of BMW's signature kidney grille. The two connected grille elements form an almost hexagonal contour, recalling the front-end design of the X4 and the X6. A 3D surround headlights the outline of the grille, and optional illumination brings after-dark bling. The headlight units extend into the wheel arches. The two vertical LED units with an arrow shape include the daytime driving lights and turn signal indicators. The lower air intake extends into the sides of the front end. It is flanked on either side by wing-shaped inlays, which guide air into the air curtains in the front apron. The rear light design gets an update. with the taillights split into two sections and extending into the car's flanks and the tailgate. LED elements for the rear lights and turn signal indicators point outward in the shape of an arrow, picking up the design of the headlights. The 2024 X2 makes driving easier with the driver assistant and parking technologies. The cockpit is anchored by a curved display pairing a 10.25-inch instrument cluster and a 10.7-inch central information display. The display runs BMW's iDrive 9 infotainment system with the automaker's newest operating system, which features a redesigned home screen and a smartphone-like menu structure. The optional Driving Assistant Professional is a camera and radar-based system with a suite of technologies such as steering and lane control assistance, active cruise control, and hands-free driving at speeds of up to 40 miles an hour on highways. The latest version of the available Parking Assistant Plus system makes parking less of a hassle. Instead of only using other vehicles as a guide to help it select a parking spot and straighten the vehicle, the system factors in the distance from the curb for more precision, BMW said. What more could you ask for? Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
From the Detroit Wing Company Sports Desk, Oxford picked up a needed victory on the road 2 weeks ago against Stony Creek as to improve their record to 2-4, dropping Stony Creek to the bottom of the OAA Red by a score of 38-28. We were there covering it. That game can be seen on OCTV. That win would actually be tarnished a week later with a loss against West Bloomfield at home. That score 38-19. Oxford's football record now 2-5 overall, 1-4 in the OAA Red. Now let's run it back to this week's sports headlines. Both Oxford boys and girls cross country teams are this year's cross country champions. The girls and the boys teams competed in the Oakland County Championship at Kensington Metro Park. This is Oxford girls' third county championship in a row, while the boys won their first in the program history, and for its first time in 46 years. Good stuff there. One school has managed to win the county in both teams. Congratulations to the Oxford Wildcat athletes. Oxford junior and varsity soccer player Nolan Mauser has been named Student Athlete of the Month for September. The goalkeeper has recorded 7 shutouts so far this season. He has been goals against per game average at 115. The Oxford boys varsity soccer team recently earned their first Oakland Activities Association Red League title in the program history. They have a record of 13-4 and 3 going into the playoff season. Congratulations to Mauser for being this year's school first student school athlete of the month. And congratulations to our OCTV team. I know Jebediah Calhoun and Joe Calhoun cover soccer there, and they make it look great on television. That wraps it up in sports. From the Detroit Wing Company Sports Desk, I'll be back with the last story. And to close it out, you're watching Oxford News This Week.
Hello, this is Lomas Brown, ex-Detroit Lion, and you're watching OCTV. That's Oxford Community TV. Check it out.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. The most powerful solar storm ever may have hit Earth 14,300 years ago, according to records preserved in alpine tree trunks. It's unclear how much damage a similarly powerful storm might cause today, but electricity grids could theoretically be knocked offline for months and all satellites destroyed. In 2012, Fusa Miyake at Nagoya University in Japan discovered evidence in tree trunks of extremely powerful solar flares, charged particles expelled from the sun that, along with magnetized plasma and gamma rays, make up solar storms. These flares, which date back many centuries, may have caused a spike in the level of radioactive form of carbon in trees. Since then, at least 9 probable ancient solar storms have been discovered in this way, called Miyake events. Now, Tim Heaton at Leeds University in the UK and his colleagues have found evidence of the largest solar storm ever, almost twice as large as the next largest Miyake event in pine tree trunks in the southern French Alps. We don't totally know what would happen if a similar storm happened today, says Heaton. Some people think they would be absolutely catastrophic because huge month-long blackouts to half the globe and destroy the solar panels on our satellites and put them permanently out of action. Other predictions suggest less disruption than this, but there is a lot of uncertainty, says Heaton. Heaton and his team looked at 140 different tree trunks buried in a bank of the Durance River in Provence. As the bank eroded, the trunks were exposed, and the team could look for raised levels of carbon-14, a kind of carbon that has 2 more neutrons than normal and is produced by energetic particles hitting Earth's atmosphere. By comparing the tree rings and constructing a timeline of when each tree lived, the researchers dated a huge spike in carbon-14 to 14,300 years ago. They also matched this spike to elevated levels of beryllium from Greenland ice cores, which is produced in a similar way to carbon-14. We have no way to compare how large a storm like this was or anything in recorded history, says Heaton. The largest solar storm we have evidence for, the so-called Carrington event in 1859, sparked fires and induced currents in telegraph wires, but this specific event was so small compared with Miyake events that it wouldn't even register a blip in the radiocarbon record. We now know of 10 Miyake events over the past 15,000 years. While they appear to be relatively infrequent, we don't know whether they occur with any sort of pattern or if they're predictable. It's also unclear what changes the sun undergoes to produce them. They're not part of what people thought was the sun's potential behavior, says Heaton. We don't even really know whether they are a totally special behavior of the sun or just the extreme ends of the more moderate solar storms that we see all the time. One thing the radiocarbon spike doesn't tell us about is other behaviors of the sun that occur during solar storms, such as high-energy gamma rays or plasma expulsions, says Raymond Muschler at Lund University in Sweden, because radiocarbon is only produced from the sun's high-energy particles, such as protons. Many more measurements are required to understand these events. This is maybe the biggest solar storm we've seen in the past, but I think we've just scratched the surface, says Muschler. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny.
Canine Stray Rescue is Oxford's own local dog rescue. Each year they take in hundreds of dogs and bring them into suitable homes. A certified nonprofit organization, Canine Dog Rescue strives to give pound dogs a new leash on life. To donate, adopt, or even volunteer, call them at 248-628-0435. or go to their website, dogsaver.org, and click on the Canine Stray Rescue League link.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, no matter where we serve, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey, this is former Detroit Lion Rob Rubick and former Lapeer, Michigan school teacher. You're currently watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television. Enjoy it.
And in our last story, let's walk and roll. Yes, walk and roll. On October 4th, students across Oxford's elementary schools participated in the National Walk and Roll to School Day, ditching the buses and cars for sneakers and bikes. Over 200 students and their parents met in Centennial Park in downtown Oxford before making the 4-block journey, posing for pictures, breaking out smiles. The event again was organized by the physical education teachers Shani Williams and Kelly Dorman, and included students from the Daniel Axford Elementary School, Oxford Elementary School, which marks the first year the event has taken place in the community since the COVID infection. According to the Walk, Bike, and Roll to School website, over 2,500 events took place across America that day. The national campaign emphasizes on the benefit of safe, active travel for children and serves to remind motorists to drive slowly and stay aware of those traveling back and forth to school. Always leaving you with a great news story there. Portions of our newscast today brought to you in part by Barron Industries. Sports brought to you by Detroit Wing Company. As always, thank you to our news gathering sources. This week's news gathering sources: the Charter Township of Oxford, Oakland County Sheriff's Office, Downtown Development Authority, Oxford's Downtown Development Authority, Oxford Athletics Facebook page, and websites: the Oxford Leader, shopmainstreet.com, the Detroit Free Press, the Detroit News, the Oakland Press. Click on Detroit, OxfordStrongAthletics.org. This week's photo credits going out to, of course, many of them the websites we just listed. OCTV can be viewed on Spectrum Charter Channel 191, Channel 99 on the ATT Uver system. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, or even Roku as well. If you have an idea for a program or would like to maybe volunteer at OCTV, give our main number a call, 248-628-9658. A very special thank you to producer and director Kyle Snage, always making sure it looks good. Also, news writer Allison Miller, editor Marissa Haruska, programmer Connie Miller, program coordinator Dan Weiss, and our own station manager Terry Stiles. For everyone here at OCTV, I'm Jim Hughes, hoping you have a safe week. And again, I'll invite you back next time. And again, we will take a look at Oxford News This Week.